Hey, Pastor Carolyn here. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here again with Erika Carr with Work of Art Fitness. It has been so fun doing these podcasts, putting the Word of God and talking about health and our bodies together. I hope you've been able to check out all the ones that we've done. If not, you can go to the playlist and the videos there and see all the ones we've done in the past. But we're on part 3. We've been talking about the 3 Ds. We've been talking about dedication, determination, and then today we're going to be dealing with discipline. Not everyone is a fan of that word, right, but it is so important. And putting all 3 together, dedication, determination, and discipline, we're going to get an amazing outcome in our life, spiritually, physically, in our health. And so today we're talking about discipline. Discipline we put down as your ability to avoid distraction. And it's easy. A lot of people get on the train of discipline. It's really all 3 of them, but they get on the train and they're on it for a little bit and then they're off at the next stop. But we're encouraging you to keep up with this as a lifestyle for the long run, to be determined in how you want to get and receive the things of God. Be determined in how you want your body to be healthy and strong. We're talking about dedication, being dedicated. Hey, I'm going to pray more. I'm going to read more. I'm going to go after the things of God. I'm going to see heaven here on earth while I'm here. We all have a purpose, and we have to be strong and full of wisdom to carry out what God has for you. And then we're going to be disciplined. We're not going to be start, stop, because that throws us off, right? Yeah. That throws us off. And then sometimes it takes people a long time to get started up again.
Years.
And so motivation, I wanted to hit on that for a minute because I wrote down motivation can start you off, right? People get motivated.
Yes.
We got New Year's.
Yep.
Hey, I want that bathing suit body.
Yeah, and everybody's hyped up about it. Yeah,
or it's like, we're a big group on the Strava app with Miracle Word Athletics. So we get disciplined because we're like, ooh, she's giving away, like the Theragun, or I get a gift card to go spend at Lululemon, or the incentive. So I'm disciplined for the 1 month, and then after the month is over, then I'm back and we're off track again. But I wrote down motivation can start you off, but discipline keeps you going. Because that's what we're trying to teach here with these podcasts and encourage you that it doesn't matter what it looks like. Everyone's different, right? We could say we're busy in all aspects. We're moms.
Right.
We have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
We have responsibilities, so, and it's life. And then all the things outside of home life, appointments that we meet and go to. We just talked about self-care, like getting your nails done.
Exactly.
We got to put that on the calendar.
Yeah.
And so we have all of these things that we're doing in life. And so discipline, we've got to keep our eye on the prize, and the prize is there, but it's far off.
Yeah.
Right? The prize is like staying healthy, doing what God has called us to do, going after it.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you're disciplined too, a lot of people, you think about it, everyone talks about all these things they want to do, right? Everybody, what do they want? They want to get married. They want to have kids. If you're in ministry, I want to do this in ministry. I want to do this in this career. I want to have this body. Well, at the end of the day, everything comes back down to discipline, to do those things and to do all of those things, and to do those things well, you got to be disciplined. So now's the time, if you haven't already, to start nailing these things down, like we're going to talk about, and implement this, because it helps you in every single area. I don't know how people are parents without being disciplined. I don't know how someone can run a household without discipline. I don't even, and just practical things we can do to be disciplined. Number 1, knowing your why. So if it's for your family, the goal you have for your family, how you want your household to look, how you want things to be, your why with your career. And just, so knowing that keeps you, because you got to remind yourself of your why when you're just not feeling it, right? Because that's why we can't go by motivation, because a lot of times, there's times you're not going to feel like it. So you're like, okay, wait, why am I doing this? And so for us, when we're doing stuff for our family, when you think about your spouse and your kids, that'll get you going again, reminding yourself of your why, or, what you're trying to achieve in your health, reminding yourself where you're headed. So that keeps you going. Starting small. I'm very big on that. That's okay to start small. And that's the best way to start because it's going to keep you going and it's easier to build on the momentum.
Right. You're not going to stay there forever.
That's right. And so
add on to it.
Yes. So don't start too big because in anything, because and then you get really good at each thing. And you see people skip that part a lot in business, in a lot of things, in their health, in whatever, because you're trying to do all these different things. It's like pull it back in a little bit and just walk every day. Okay, you're like, oh, I got that down. I'm good. All right. Now let's lift weights a few days.
Yeah.
And then you nail that down for a while. Some people catch it quicker than others, and that's okay. But you're better off to start small. I never throw a lot of stuff at a client in the beginning, especially if someone's new to all of it. If they haven't worked out before, they haven't really ever thought of their nutrition and been mindful of what they're eating. I'll see what they have the hardest time with and focus on that and start very small. And when they nail that down, I'll add in another component. And then I add in another thing because people will be like, oh, so I'm just focusing on this. I thought I needed to do, and they give out a list. I'm like, we're going to get there. Stay here for right now.
Yeah.
And that helps you to continue to move forward. And then removing any friction. You got to, again, take inventory of your life, your day to day, what's around you, and you can make adjustments to make things easier for yourself. That will either distract you or cause you to fail in the pursuit of what you're working toward. And so those are just a few simple things that you could do just to get started.
Yeah. One example I love to give is, you have people in sports, right? So they're disciplined in order to get where they are.
Yeah.
There's a reason I'm not in the MLB. Well, I mean, because I'm a girl, yes. That's the main reason.
One reason.
But I use that because my son's like super big into baseball right now. But, or, in the Olympics for something, there's a reason I'm not disciplined. It's not that I can't.
Yeah.
I can be as physically strong as some of these people. I could, take the time and the dedication, but I'm missing one of them, and that's the discipline.
Yeah.
There's fighters, you see like boxers and UFC fighters and all that, right? You know that they are watching their opponent, right? They're taking old videos, they're taking old footage, and they're like, okay, when he does this, they
study it.
I watch, like this is a move that he's always like, that's his signature, his signature move. And so they're disciplined. They're like, I'm taking this, I'm going to eat right. I'm only going to stay, I got to stay at this weight. Some like football players and stuff, they're not allowed to. It's like part of their contract.
And that's how they get paid. Yeah.
But they're discipline because there's an outcome. The outcome is, hey, I'm getting the big bucks. I get to be on the NFL team. And so I'm going to stay disciplined.
Yeah.
And so we have to look at that and take those, what the world does, what they're doing, and saying, hey, I need to apply this in my own life. I'm going to be disciplined in the things of God. I'm going to be strong in spirit. I'm going to be at a different level. Our faith is always increasing. There's no cap. So like, I don't know if people think like, I've arrived maybe, or, I get to a certain age and, I'm 70. I've lived my whole life serving the Lord. And at 70, that's it. My faith is capped, but it's not true. Like your faith is ever increasing, and we're to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's why Caleb could say in his 80s, like, put a sword in my hand. Like, I'm ready to fight. You want to throw? Let's throw. Let's go, because there's a strength upon him. And so when I'm in my 80s, I want to say that too. Not that I really want to fight everybody in my 80s, but I'm just saying, like, I want to have
I could
that.
If I needed to.
I want to have that same, you feel it in the anointing, right? A strength that comes on your body. So I want to be strong in spirit, where I can say, hey, I've been disciplined. So when the enemy tries to throw something my way and none of it's new, I'm ready. And then, and then strong in my body. Like, hey, as long as I'm here on earth, I want to be able to do anything God calls me to do. And if I'm in my 80s when I'm traveling, if I'm 80s, still, running the church and doing all these things, I want to be strong to do it and do what God has called me to do.
Yeah. And that was a good example too, even with the fighting and stuff too, and what you just said, because and this may sound weird to some believers, but you have to almost expect resistance it's almost like when you're lifting and strength training, the actual resistance and what gets you stronger.
Causes you to be stronger though.
Things are going to come up. Things are going to happen, but it helps you to continue to push forward
Yeah.
when you're disciplined. So no, that's part of it. It's
And
no
even though the
different than
things
lifting.
come, doesn't mean you're going to be crushed.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you're going to be taken out.
Yeah, you
It's
take
just
what you
you're
know
prepared.
exactly, and you're prepared to handle it. And so, that's the thing when we talk about, progressing in the gym, progressive overload. You're getting stronger, so you add more weight, you add more reps, and you can do that. And we can even, from a practical standpoint, you can do that with your body as you continue to get older.
I mean, who doesn't want to go to the gym once and then look like The Rock
Right.
or like someone?
Right.
That'd be dreamy to be like, hey,
okay, just one and
I
done.
just listened, did this, and my legs look amazing. They're so toned. Look at my muscle. I just did 10 squats. Look at that.
And
I'm done. No, that's not.
I mean, that'd
the
be great, but no, that's not. And it actually takes more work as we get older. So again, that's why putting these things in place as soon as you can is only going to help you, and it's going to help you with everything. So we need that. We need to be strong in our body, in our spirit,
yes,
our mind, all of it. We need that. And so knowing, yes, there's going to be challenging things that come up, but even as you strengthen your actual body, I love the confidence that builds. And even for women specifically, like, because I know there's a lot of women listening to this, like, there's just something, it can even be one workout. And even if you haven't worked out, it could be years.
Yeah.
And you get one good workout in, it does something to you. It does change you. And and I'm telling you, it helps with the discipline, and remembering that.
Your clients come to you and say, hey, I suck at being disciplined.
People do say that because people have a hard time.
Do they really?
Yes.
Yes. Like,
people
Erica, I need your help.
Yes.
What are ways? What is advice you can give me?
Well, I tell them, be disciplined. Well, one of the things I put down, like focusing on, and again, you have to get back to practical things. So focusing on systems. So if someone said, what, and what I mean by that is you need to focus on systems and not willpower, because obviously that has not worked, right? So what do you have actual systems in place? So that means a routine in place, tracking your progress, reminders to do those things. Those are little practical things in your day. So that's one of the things they do is, okay, they invest in a plan. So yes, I have a routine I'm following. Okay, after so many weeks, I'm tracking my progress. So that's how I know, what I'm accomplishing and what's changing as I'm doing this. And then setting reminders. That's a practical thing. Having a calendar, having a planner, having a reminder, hey, you got to get your workout in at this point. That's what I tell people. It comes down to that. Sometimes people do not realize, oh, it's all those little things that get me here. Yep,
we overthink it.
We overthink it always. And it is actually, and I say that to encourage people because that should help you be like, oh, so it's more simple than what I was thinking. It's like, just start like that. I always like taking things a week at a time. And I do that with myself. And I look at my schedule. Okay, what days am I working out? I put it in. And then again, for some people, you might not know the exact time of day, depending on your schedule, but sometime today, I got to get that done.
Yeah.
Might need to put a reminder in my phone, or depending on the type of work you do, set it as a meeting, a non-negotiable.
I'm like a reminder queen.
It helps.
In my phone.
It helps a lot.
Like for whatever the day. I mean, it doesn't matter what needs to be reminding. It could be like, remember, to ask, Pastor Ted for this again, or do this, or remember to log on and, you know what I mean?
I do the same thing.
Because you do get lost in life, not in a bad way, but work, parenting.
Especially with all the moving parts.
Appointments. Yeah. And so you get lost in those things that I'm always like, remind me. Mm-hmm. One day I'm gonna be like, remind me to make dinner.
No, I know, because there's so many things going on.
Remind me to eat.
Yeah, and it happens. That happens a lot for women, by the way. I'll ask, what have you had?
Remind
me
to drink more water.
And people are like, I forgot. It's happened to me before. And it's because we're doing so many things. And that's why, that's a super practical point I wrote down, but I find that people need to hear that, including myself. I have it in my planner with all my other stuff, a reminder to, it's something I got to send my dad because Father's Day is coming up. If I don't have it written down, guess what? There are so many things going on. It would leave my mind for that moment or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, another day passed by and I didn't do that. So get down to like the practical things, and that will help you literally in everything. I think that's how you become successful in anything you do, because you're prepared, you're thinking ahead, what's coming, you're prepping for the unexpected or some of the unknowns. And it eliminates all that. And that goes back to removing friction, which I talked about earlier. Controlling your environment. was another one that kind of goes with the removing friction. So controlling your environment isn't only, it could be things as simple as what foods or things you bring into your house. And it can also be the people you're around, the places you allow yourself to go.
That's good.
What kind of friends do you have? Are they healthy? Do they discourage you in your health and fitness and the things of the Lord? Or do they discourage you? All that matters. And that's why I always say the whole take an inventory thing. You got to take inventory of like everything.
Sure.
In
what
your
about
life.
the power of no? We love to say yes.
Women, yeah.
And I think, we feel like we have to say yes to every school thing. They all want parents to participate in everything. So, yes to being a homeroom mom, or yes to bringing in snacks, or yes to doing this, and yes to being here. And then your kids are in sports, and yes, and yes, and yes. And then they want to do this and sign up for this. And not that you don't want to do all these things for your kids, but it's good to even say to your children, hey, let's pick something.
Yes.
Let's focus on it. Let's make this a priority. Teddy has really increased in baseball, and he's gone from like not knowing anything to not being that great to now I have like coaches and people reaching out to me.
That's so cool.
Like, I want him to come try out in Boca. I want him to be on this travel team.
Yeah.
I want him, and this and that. And I got to that place just this summer that it was like you get in that excitement of, oh, my kids wanted.
Yeah.
And then I had to remind myself, nope, you got to put the family first, the ministry. There's things you're doing. You have 2 other kids that want to do things.
Yep.
And we're going to just take some time. Like, we're not going to make it a huge focus this summer. Like, when fall starts back up, we'll do what's close to our city. We're not going to go and be going all around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a great reminder.
But you get excited because you see their face light up and you're like, yes, I'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sign them up. Yes. And then all of a sudden there's stuff in your life that gets put aside and you're struggling with. And the discipline that you had, now you're all over the place because you just got excited in a moment and didn't have the power of no to realize in your discipline.
No, I think, and a lot of women need to hear that, because I think when we say no, we can almost then beat ourselves up for like, it's like, we're not good enough because
we're not
I
good
said
enough,
no.
or you don't have compassion to help somebody out. And you know a lot of people, right? So they want you to be at a lot of things, or they're starting groups and there's this and that. And so you want to support people and you feel like, hey, if I don't go, I'm not supporting. But those are all things. This is real life. Us talking about this is like all things we've dealt with. Where it's like, no, I love what you're doing, and I'm supporting you, and I'm encouraging you. I can't be at everything.
No.
I can't
and to know
do
it's
everything.
Okay. And to know it's okay when you can't. So, and all those practical tips, it helps you when you plan and you take a look at. It's almost like mapping things out too. On that road to like success and what you want to achieve in any area. All that factors
has nothing
in
to do
your
with
time.
lack of love and support.
No,
it's
not at
just I also have things I have to be disciplined in my own life and in my own family that I've got to make that a priority.
Yeah. And when we're not, you'll see that's where people's health will go. Like they've done everything else for everybody and everything, but now
and then their body's
what's
weak.
left of you to do more of that? It's going to be less and less because you don't want to be forced to say no, because now you've let yourself go and you've let your body go. And that's not a good thing. So taking care of that in advance is a huge thing. And then I wanted to mention one of my favorite scriptures. I know we've talked about this before. Proverbs 12:1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. That's pretty clear cut. I mean, if you could even have that up, written down somewhere to look at. Like, I don't think that's one we'd like hang up on the wall in the house, right? Can you imagine? People put scriptures up.
Stupid.
Not that one. But it is, it's like, wow, when the Bible hits some of those, and that's why I love all the, when you read those scriptures, like, God, that's good. It's very clear. And it's like, no, learn to love discipline because it's going to help you in everything. And we've got to get to a place where we prioritize our health, for many reasons. And again, it's going to help you in every single thing that you do. And I'm big on, like we talked about, with dedication and determination, discipline, it all sets you apart.
Yes.
And that stands out to the Lord. And who can he trust when he's looking? Who can he trust to take on things? I know probably everyone watching is believing God for something big, and they're believing for certain things. And then and things like that, you also have to take a step back. Am I even am I prepared for that? You know, you're praying and asking God for all these things, but it's like you're skipping a lot of stuff on the
Good.
way there.
Yeah.
And you've got to step back and as you have a right and like clear focus on these little things like we're pointing out today, get so focused on that, you'll get to those
Right.
big things you desire way faster because you're not so laser focused on that and missing the other stuff. And I think that's where people miss it a lot is they get so caught up. You see it with women a lot. They get so wrapped up in the, oh, I really want to be married or I really want this or that. And you're doing nothing to prepare you
Yeah.
for what you want.
Yeah.
And then you're not happy. You've lost your joy. And then there goes your strength. And you know how it's all connected
Yeah.
because your focus is in the wrong place.
That's what I always tell women with Proverbs 31.
Yes.
Like that's not verses in that chapter for just when you get married.
Right. Exactly.
I love to go through it because then you're prepared.
Yes.
If you take those steps now, if you pray and ask the Holy Spirit, hey, show me, where I need to tweak on this or do this or make me, when I become a wife, make me the best wife. Help me to see things differently. Help me to be this way. I will work. It says the Lord in Deuteronomy will bless the work of our hands. Like I'm going to be a hard worker. I'm going to be dedicated. And that's what she is. She is all those three things in there. She is determined. She is dedicated and she is disciplined.
Yeah.
But we tend to take that Proverbs 31 teaching for wives. And it's always been harped to wives. But I like that where it's like, you're prepared. I always tell women of all ages, like, hey, make this a goal that this is what you want to be like. This is what you're prepared for.
Yeah.
And so you're not scrambling when you do get married to then all of a sudden, I'm going to fix myself.
That's right.
I'm going to go after it.
And
it's a lot easier to do it before.
No, it's true. And all that same stuff it takes to have kids. You know, how everybody, wants all these different things. And I always think about patience, and being patient in the process, how much just patience can help you, when you have kids. But I was also just thinking when you mentioned being a wife, people don't like to talk about this, but you do have a responsibility to take care of your body. And it matters, our appearance and relationships and stuff like that. People don't want to talk about it, but you need to talk about it. But that's what these podcasts are about, to help people to be at their best, to thrive in every area, thrive as a wife, thrive as a mom, thrive in your career because you can.
Yeah.
You really can in all of those things.
And if you don't take care, you're being selfish.
Right.
You're being selfish in that place.
Right.
So, determination and discipline and being dedicated this year and take these three things into every year. Make this a point of life for you, these three things. And if you have to stick it on, I'm going to read them again real quick, to stick them on, your refrigerator, your mirrors in your bathroom, that dedication is the unwavering focus to follow your purpose. Determination is your resolve to stay the course. And discipline is your ability to avoid distraction. Just think about not only in your health, but in your spiritual walk with God, how unstoppable you'll be for the kingdom.